It was a quiet evening in the small village of Eldora when baby Helena was born. But the moment the midwife cleaned her tiny face and held her up, gasps filled the room. "She has a mustache," someone whispered in shock. Indeed, right there above the baby's pink lips was a thin line of hair, soft, black, and strange. Helena's mother Ruth was speechless. She held her baby tight and smiled. "She's still my beautiful girl," she said. But the villagers did not agree. Every time Ruth stepped out with Helena wrapped on her back, people would whisper and point. "Look, it's the beast child. She gave birth to a man. Maybe the baby was cursed." The laughter and name-calling were cruel. Some mothers told their children not to play near Helena. Others crossed the road when they saw Ruth coming. But no matter what they said, Ruth never stopped loving her child. "She's special," she would whisper to Helena every night. "One day, the world will know it." Years passed. Helena grew up strong and kind, but she was never allowed to forget her mustache. Even though she bathed often and tried to shave it, the hair always grew back, thicker, darker, stronger. Children still laughed. Adults still whispered. And worse, Helena started believing she was truly different in a bad way. One sunny afternoon, the entire village gathered for the prince's parade. Prince Liam, the king's only son, was handsome, proud, and known for making jokes, sometimes very hurtful ones. As his golden carriage passed by, he noticed Helena standing quietly by the roadside, her head down. "Who is that man standing with the women?" he shouted loudly, pointing at Helena. The crowd burst into laughter. "That's not a man," someone said. "That's the mustache girl." Prince Liam grinned and added, "Well, with a mustache like that, maybe she's my long-lost uncle." The laughter grew louder. Helena's eyes filled with tears. She turned and ran, her heart broken. But what no one knew was that Helena was no ordinary girl. That night, Helena had a dream. A woman dressed in blue light appeared before her. "My child," the woman said gently, "you are chosen. Your mustache is a sign, not a curse. You carry the power of the stars, passed down from the ancient protectors of Eldora." Helena shook her head. "But everyone laughs at me, even the prince." The woman smiled. "Even the moon is laughed at by those who don't understand its light. Soon they will see." When Helena woke up, her body felt different, stronger, brighter. She tried lifting a large rock beside her, and it flew into the air with ease. She could hear the softest sound of birds in the far trees and could smell flowers from across the village. Helena had superpowers. Helena sat alone by the riverbank one morning, quietly staring at the water. Her heart was still heavy from the prince's cruel words. Everyone in the village treated her like a mistake, like someone who didn't belong. But deep inside, Helena knew there was something strange about her, something different, something powerful. She had felt it again that morning. As she watched the people pass by, she saw flashes, short, clear pictures in her mind. It was like her eyes could see what hadn't happened yet. At first, she thought she was dreaming. But then an old man named Mr. Jonas walked past her, whistling and carrying a hoe. He was headed to the forest to clear some land for farming. Helena suddenly gasped and stood up. Her eyes had seen something, a tree falling, a loud crack, and Mr. Jonas lying on the ground, not moving. She ran toward him, breathless. "Mr. Jonas," she called, "please don't go to the forest today." He turned, surprised. "Why, child?" I saw something. A big tree will fall. You won't come back alive. Please don't go." Mr. Jonas narrowed his eyes at her. "Are you all right in the head, or is your mustache getting in the way of your thinking?" Helena's face fell. "You ugly mustache girl," he snapped. "What do you know about anything? Get lost." He walked away, shaking his head and laughing. Helena stood frozen, her heart pounding. She didn't know what else to do. Later that evening, the village bell rang. People came running from every corner, shouting, crying, and talking at the same time. Jonas is dead, someone screamed. A tree crushed him while he was working. Helena's mouth dropped open. It was exactly what she had seen. The vision had come true. Whispers spread fast. Did she know it before it happened? Or did she cause it? But that wasn't the end. Just 3 days later, it happened again. A young woman named Clara Era was on her way to the village stream, balancing a large clay pot on her head. As she passed by Helena, another vision flashed in Helena's eyes. She saw Clara's foot slip on a wet stone. She saw the girl fall into the deep part of the stream. She saw her drown. Helena ran up quickly. Sister Clara Era, please don't go to the stream. I beg you. Clara Era frowned. Why not? I saw something. You will fall. The water will pull you in. You won't come back. Clara Era stared at her for a moment, then burst into laughter. You again? Mustache girl. Mustache mouth always seeing what no one sees. Maybe you should open a fortune-telling shop. I'm serious, Helena whispered. Please. Clara Era shook her head and hissed, you better get out of my way before I use this pot to reset your brain. With that, she walked off. Helena stood there, helpless and afraid. And just as she feared, Clara Era didn't come back. Her lifeless body was found floating in the stream that evening. That was when the real trouble started. The villagers gathered in the square, their faces full of fear and anger. They no longer saw Helena as a poor, strange girl. They now believed she was dangerous. She warned Jonas, and he died. She warned Clara Era too, dead. She's not normal. She brings death everywhere she goes. It didn't matter that Helena tried to help. It didn't matter that she begged them not to go. All they saw was a girl with a mustache and mysterious powers. This girl is a curse, a woman shouted. She must leave our land. That evening, the angry villagers gathered and marched to the king's palace. Men, women, and even children carried sticks, pots, and leaves, shouting loud and long. Your Majesty, the village chief cried as they reached the palace gate. We've come to save our people. The king came out wearing his long golden robe. His face was calm, but his eyes were tired. What troubles my people? He asked. It's the girl, the people shouted. The one with the mustache. She's cursed. People she talks to end up dead. She must be banished from Eldora. Another added, before we all die. The king raised his hand. Enough. I have heard you. He turned to one of his guards. Send for the girl. Let her speak for herself. The crowd cheered as the guard left. In the quietness of her small hut, Helena was lighting her lantern when the palace guard arrived. The king wants to see you, he said coldly. Helena's hands trembled. Why? You will find out when you get there. Move. She followed him, silently passing by villagers who spat at her feet and whispered cruel names. As she entered the palace, she saw the king sitting on his tall wooden throne. Beside him stood his son Prince Liam, the same boy who mocked her months ago. He folded his arms, watching her with a grin on his face. The king looked at her for a moment. Helena, is it true you saw the deaths of Jonas and Clara Era before they happened? Yes, Your Majesty, she answered softly, her head bowed. Did you cause them? No, I only saw it like a warning in my mind. I tried to stop them, they didn't listen. The king sighed and looked at his people. She did not kill them, but fear has filled your hearts. The crowd roared. She is evil. She must go, ban her forever. The king stood. If the people no longer feel safe, then I have no choice. He turned to the guards. By sunrise tomorrow take this girl into the forest. Let her live away from the village. From this day forward no one shall speak her name again. Helena gasped. But your majesty, the king raised his hand. Enough. Prince Liam laughed. Maybe the forest will teach her how to shave. After the king announced her banishment, Helena raised her voice. One last time, your majesty, she said gently, please don't smoke your cigarettes this evening. You can do it tomorrow. If you smoke tonight you will not wake up alive. The whole palace fell silent. Everyone stared at her. The king's eyes turned red. With anger he stood up quickly and pointed his finger at her. Enough, you little girl, he shouted, daughter of a useless mother. What gives you the right to talk to me like that? He turned to his guards. Let her go. Take her far from this land. Let her carry a few clothes from her house. That's all. She must go and live with the wild animals in the forest. That's if she can even survive. The crowd laughed. Just look at this thing, the king growled, insulting me, the great king of Eldora. I love smoking. I can't go a day without it, and no cursed child will tell me what to do. Helena felt her heart tear into pieces, but she didn't cry. She held her head high as the guards dragged her away. Prince Liam whispered, goodbye, mustache girl, don't get eaten by a lion. The guards walked her through the village with swords by their sides as if she was a criminal. Villagers stood by their doors watching her pass. Some spat on the ground, others whispered, which beast she deserves it. When they reached her little hut at the edge of the village, her mother was already standing outside. Ruth's eyes were red and swollen from crying. The guards told her she has 5 minutes to take what she needs. Ruth rushed inside and began to pack a small bag with a wrapper, slippers, and a bottle of water. She held her daughter's face and cried like a baby, you this stubborn girl. Ruth wept. I told you to mind your business. I warned you to stay silent, but you refused. Now look, they want to throw you out like an animal. Mother, I'm sorry, I already lost your father, Ruth cried louder. He died just 4 months before you were born. I carried you alone. I raised you alone, and now you want to leave me all alone again? Helena's eyes filled with tears, but she smiled and wiped her mother's face gently. Mother, nothing will happen to me, she whispered. I am not alone. I am a child of the gods. What gods? Ruth asked, confused. The same ones that gave me these gifts, the ones that sent that glowing woman in my dream. I don't know where I'm going, but I know it's not the end. Ruth shook her head. You are still my baby, my little girl, and no matter what people say, I know you are special. Helena hugged her mother tightly. It was the warmest hug they ever shared. Then she picked up her small bag and turned to the guards. I'm ready. The guards didn't say a word, they just walked. Ruth stood at the door, hands on her chest, crying and watching her daughter disappear into the forest. God, please protect my child, she whispered through tears. She's all I have. As Helena reached the edge of the village and stepped into the thick dark forest, she looked back one last time. The place that mocked her, the land that rejected her, the people she tried to save. She turned around and walked deeper into the trees. That night, as Helena sat under a tree in the middle of the forest, the wind blew gently through the trees. The moon was high and the forest was quiet, but far away in the village something terrible happened. In the king's palace, the old king lit his cigarette just as he always did. He took a long puff and leaned back in his chair. I don't care what that girl said, he muttered. I've smoked for 40 years. Nothing has happened to me. But just moments later his chest began to tighten. He gasped for breath and clutched his heart. His eyes rolled back. Call the royal doctor, the queen shouted as he collapsed, but it was too late. By sunrise the entire kingdom was mourning. The king of Eldora was dead. Whispers spread fast. Helena warned him. She told him not to smoke. She said he wouldn't wake up alive. The queen, however, didn't care what anyone said. Her heart was full of pain and anger. Her husband was gone and she wanted someone to blame. That witch's daughter cursed him. The queen screamed, bring me her mother now. The guards rushed to the poor part of the village and dragged Ruth, Helena's mother, from her hut. They tied her hands behind her and pushed her Through the crowd straight to the palace, Ruth fell on her knees before the queen. "Your Majesty, please," she cried. The queen slapped her hard. "Shut up, you. Raised a witch, you raised a demon with a mustache who killed my husband. She didn't alived anyone." Ruth wept. "You dare speak?" the queen shouted. Guards beat her, let her feel what it means to lose someone she loves. 2 soldiers grabbed Ruth and began to beat her. She screamed in pain as the queen watched with bitter eyes. "After you beat her," the queen said coldly, "make her disappear forever. I don't care how, bury her, burn her. Just make sure I never see this woman again." Just then Prince Liam entered the palace hall. His face was pale, his eyes were swollen with tears. "Mother, stop this madness," he said firmly. "She must pay," the queen shouted. "That girl, her daughter, alived your father." "No," the prince said, stepping forward. "She didn't. Father made his own choice," she warned him. He laughed, he smoked, he died. "She is the mother of a witch," the queen yelled. "She is a poor, innocent woman," the prince replied. "You will not touch her again. I am now the head of this royal family," Prince Liam said with power in his voice. "Soon I will be king. You must obey me now, mother." The queen's face twisted in anger. "Do what you want," she hissed, "but I will never forgive her daughter." The prince looked at the guards. "Untie her." They quickly obeyed. Ruth was weak and in pain but free. She bowed to the prince with tears in her eyes. "Thank you, your highness," she whispered. He nodded, then turned away deep in thought. Meanwhile, deep in the forest, Helena walked slowly between trees. Tired and hungry, she had not eaten all day. Her feet were sore. She had no idea where to go. The sun was going down and strange animal sounds filled the air. Suddenly she heard a voice. "Child, stop right there." Helena turned quickly. An old woman stood before her, leaning on a wooden stick. Her gray hair was tied up with dry leaves. Her eyes glowed softly. "Who are you?" Helena asked, stepping back. "I am Mama Lura," the woman said. "And you are the girl with the mustache." Helena lowered her head. "If you came to laugh at me too, go ahead." But the old woman smiled gently. "Why would I laugh at a gift from the gods?" Helena looked up confused. "Gift, yes," Mama Laura said. "Your mustache is a mark. You are a special child chosen by the gods to save your people." Helena's mouth opened in shock. "Come," the old woman said, "you need food and rest." She led Helena to a small wooden hut hidden deep in the trees. It was warm inside. "You have seen things before they happen, haven't you?" she asked. Helena nodded. "Yes, I tried to help them, but they all hate me. They called me a witch and sent me away." "They sent you away because they are blind," Mamalura said, "but their eyes will open soon." Helena touched her mustache gently. "I hate this thing." "No," Mamalura said firmly. "Never hate your mark. It is a sign of power. You are the daughter of light, the protector of Eldora. One day they will kneel before you." Helena felt something rise in her chest. Strength, hope. "But I don't know what to do," she said softly. "I will teach you," Mamalura said, "but first you must heal. Your heart is full of pain." She touched Helena's forehead. A strange calmness filled her body. "Sleep now," the old woman whispered. "Tomorrow your training begins. You have a great mission and many enemies." The sun rose slowly in the forest. Birds sang softly and the trees danced with the wind. Helena woke up inside Mamalura's hut, feeling stronger than before. "Today we begin your training," Mamalura said as she handed Helena a cup of herbs to drink. "You must learn how to control your powers or they will control you." "What do I need to do?" Helena asked. Ready. Mama Lura led her to a quiet part of the forest where the trees stood in perfect lines. "Close your eyes," she said. "Listen to the wind, listen to the ground. Tell me what you hear." Helena closed her eyes. At first she heard nothing, then slowly she heard footsteps, soft ones like a deer walking nearby. She opened her eyes quickly. "There's something behind that tree," she said. Mama Lura smiled. "Good, your ears are growing stronger now. We begin vision training every day." Helena practiced. She learned how to open her mind and see the future clearly. She could now tell what would happen, not just in hours or days but even weeks ahead. She learned how to move small objects with her mind, light fire, With her fingers and even called the rain, "You are becoming who you were born to be," Mamalura said proudly. "One day you shall return to your village." "But what if they never accept me again?" Helena asked. "One day they will," Mamalura said. "When the time is right, when they are on their knees." Meanwhile, the village of Eldora was changing, and not in a good way. Strange things began to happen. It started with the crops. Every farm that once produced yam, maize and cassava began to dry up. Even the greenest plants turned brown. Then people started disappearing one after the other. A farmer went to his land and never came back. A woman fetching water vanished without a trace. A group of hunters entered the forest and never returned. Fear filled the village. The people began to gather in the square again. "What is happening to us?" they asked each other. "Is this a curse?" King Liam sat on the royal throne restless. He was no longer the mocking prince. He now carried the weight of an entire kingdom on his shoulders. "Send for the queen," he ordered. When the queen arrived, she looked worried. "My son, what is going on?" "I don't know, Mother." Liam said. "The people are afraid. Our food is gone. Our men are missing. What if this is not just nature?" The queen held her chest. "Then what is it?" Liam called for the chief priest, the most powerful spiritual man in the kingdom. He arrived. "My queen, my king," he said, bowing, "I have spoken to the gods." "And what did they say?" the queen asked quickly. The priest looked up with serious eyes. "It is the girl, the mustache girl, Helena. She is the key." The queen gasped. "She's still alive?" "Yes, my queen," the priest replied. "The gods revealed it to me in a dream. She lives in the forest under the care of the wise woman Mamalura." Liam leaned forward. "And you're sure?" "Yes, my king, and she is the only one who can save this village from what is coming. If she is not called, more people will vanish. The land will dry. The village may fall." The queen stood up angry. "Never! I will not allow that girl to step foot in this palace again." "But Mother," Liam tried to speak. "Don't mother me," she shouted. "She una lived your father. She didn't una live him." Liam replied. "He didn't listen. He chose to smoke, and now she may be our only hope." The queen's face turned cold. "I don't care. She will never come back to this land while I live." The chief priest shook his head sadly. "Then may the gods show mercy." Days later, King Liam became so sick that he could not even move. He could not talk. He could not open his eyes. He could not eat. His breathing was slow and weak. His mother, the queen, was worried. Doctors came and went. They gave him herbs and mixtures, but nothing worked. The queen stood by his bedside, worried and helpless. "My son, my only child," she whispered, holding his hand. "Please don't leave me." But Liam didn't respond. She had already lost her husband. Now her only son was slipping away too. She didn't know what else to do. The palace was quiet. The villagers were afraid. The queen finally called the chief priest. The chief priest arrived not long after, wearing the same red and white robe. His face looked even more serious than before. "My queen," he said softly, "I warned you." The queen held her head. "Please do something. My son is dying." "I cannot do anything," he said calmly. "The gods have spoken. If you don't bring Helena, the mustache girl, back, I'm afraid the king will be gone in a few days' time." The queen stood up slowly. "What did you just say?" "It is your son who will be gone," she repeated. The queen's heart raced. "No, no, you're joking." "I am not joking," the chief priest replied. "This is a serious warning from the gods." The queen stared at him in shock. Her legs became weak. Her lips trembled. For the first time in her life, she was truly afraid. Later that evening, the queen called the elders of Eldora for an emergency meeting in the palace. 5 wise men came. "I called you here because we are in great danger," the queen said. "The king, my son, is very sick. The chief priest says he will die unless that girl returns." "What girl?" one elder asked. "The one with the mustache," she replied bitterly. "Helena." The elders looked at one another. "She's the only solution," the queen continued, "but I will never beg her. Never. That girl is a disaster. She is evil. She brings nothing but sorrow." But she warned the king. Another elder said carefully, "She only tried to help." The queen's eyes grew wide. "Don't defend her in front of me. I want all of you to travel to the next village. Go and find a native doctor. Anyone, just someone who can save my son." One elder cleared his throat. "We don't know anyone." In the next village, and even if we go it may take days, the king doesn't have that long. Another elder stood slowly. My queen, why not call Helena? She's just one girl. She is not just a girl, the queen screamed, she's a curse in human form. Your Majesty, the chief elder said gently, maybe the gods sent her for this very reason. The queen waved her hand. You are all fools. If you cannot help me, then leave. The elders were silent. Again, then another elder said, even if we wanted to search, we cannot enter the forest. Yes, they agreed, no one goes into the evil forest and comes back alive. That place is cursed. Then all of you should go, the queen shouted, go and stay in the forest forever. You are all useless to this kingdom. She stormed out of the room and returned to her son's side, wiping his face with tears in her eyes after the queen shouted at them and called them useless. The elders left the palace feeling broken. They stood outside the royal gate, whispering among themselves, what do we do now? One asked. The prince will die soon. Another replied, only Helena can save him, said the chief elder. But how do we find her then? One of them had an idea. Let's go to the chief priest again, maybe he can call on Mamalura. If anyone can reach Helena, it is her. So they returned to the sacred temple and knelt before the chief priest. Please, the elders begged, help us. The queen has refused to humble herself, but we cannot allow this kingdom to fall. Help us call on Mamalura. You are the only one who can reach the spirit world. The chief priest looked at their tired faces. He nodded slowly. It will not be easy, he said, but I will try my best. That night, when the moon was high and the stars were bright, the chief priest dressed in white, he sat on the floor, closed his eyes and began to chant softly. The gods of the sky, the rivers, the earth, open the gates of the spirit world, he whispered. The air became cold, the fire in the temple burned higher. Then everything went silent. The chief priest opened his eyes. He was no longer in the temple. He stood inside the thick evil forest alone. Then a soft voice spoke. You have come far, priest. The voice said it was Mamalura. She walked out from behind a tall tree holding her wooden staff. I need your help, the priest said quickly. The kingdom is falling apart. The prince is dying. Please call Helena. Only she can save us. Mamalura looked into the air. She is not far, but her heart is still wounded. She lifted her staff and called gently, Helena, my daughter, come. In seconds Helena appeared, glowing in a soft light, her long gown blowing in the wind, her mustache still as bold as ever. Her eyes were calm but strong. She saw the chief priest and folded her arms. What do you want? She asked. The chief priest bowed his head. Please forgive us. The land is dying, crops are gone, people are missing, and now the prince, your old enemy, is critically sick. He may not survive the next sunrise. We need your help. Helena shook her head slowly. No, she said firmly, I will not go back. Why? The priest asked. Those people laughed at me. They mocked me. They called me a beast, a witch, a curse. They threw stones at me. They banished me into this forest like I was an animal. And now they need me. The forest grew quiet. Please, the chief priest begged. He is young. He has changed. He regrets everything. Don't let him die. Helena turned her back. I've suffered too much for speaking the truth. I warned them. They refused to listen. The priest wiped a tear. What about your mother? Don't you miss her? Helena paused. I do, she said softly. But I see her every night with my spiritual eyes. I know she's fine. The gods are always with her. I feel her prayers like fire around me. Mamalura stepped forward. Child, she said gently, I know they hurt you. But you were not sent to them because they were kind. You were sent because they were blind. Helena didn't reply. Mamalura walked closer. You are not just a girl with a mustache. You are the light of Eldora, the protector of the people, even when they don't deserve it. Helena took a deep breath. Her eyes softened. She looked at the chief priest again. So, He may not survive the night. The priest nodded. Yes, time is running out. Helena turned to Mamalura. Then tomorrow morning, I will go. The chief priest's eyes lit up. Thank you. She raised her hand. But I'm not going to bow to anyone. I'm coming because the god sent me, not because I was begged. Mamalura smiled. That is enough. The forest wind grew louder. The spirit world began to fade. The chief priest closed his eyes and whispered, Thank you, gods of Eldora. The sun had not yet fully risen. A soft wind moved through the village. The streets were quiet. Not a single child was playing. Suddenly, a strange light appeared in the sky, soft, golden, and bright. Helena walked into the village from the forest, her long gown brushing the ground, her steps gentle but firm. She walked straight into the palace. Inside, Queen Miriam sat beside her son, King Liam. His eyes were closed, his skin was pale, his breathing was shallow. The queen stood as Helena entered. Her lips opened, but no words came out. Helena didn't look at her. She walked straight to the bed and touched the young king's forehead. Let the sickness dry up, she said softly. Let life return. Her hands glowed. A strong wind blew through the room and stopped. Suddenly, King Liam opened his eyes. Water, he whispered. The queen screamed, My son. Liam sat up slowly. His voice was weak, but his eyes were full of life. You came back, he said to Helena. She nodded. Yes. I did what I came to do. Then she turned to leave. The young king quickly stood, still holding his chest. No, please don't go. Helena turned around, surprised. I want you to stay, Liam said. You are now my special advisor. You are no longer the girl with a mustache. You are the girl who saved the king, the one who saved Eldora. Please don't go. Helena looked at him with soft eyes. You mocked me. You called me names. I'm sorry, Liam said. We were wrong. I was blind. But not anymore. Please forgive us. She looked down. Her heart was heavy again. I will think about it, she said quietly. But first, I want to see my mother. Helena walked through the streets. The same people who once spat at her feet now stepped aside to let her pass. But Helena said nothing. She just walked until she reached the small mud house where her mother lived. She stood at the door. Her mother opened it. Their eyes met. Helena, Ruth whispered. Tears filled her eyes. Her hands covered her mouth. Then she ran forward and hugged her daughter tightly. My child, my baby. I thought you were dead, Ruth cried. I thought I would never see you again. Helena closed her eyes and hugged her mother back. Thank you, Lord, Ruth said again and again. Thank you for saving my child. They sat inside the small room, holding each other like old friends. Ruth looked at her daughter's face and smiled. You are even more beautiful now, she said. Look at you, strong, bold, chosen by the gods. Helena shook her head slowly. I'm going back, Mama. Back to the forest. They don't need me here. No, her mother shouted. You must not go. Helena looked away. They rejected me, Mother. They beat me. They mocked me. They called me evil. They sent me to die in the evil forest. What if I had died? Ruth held her hand tightly. But you didn't die. You lived, because you were born for greatness. Helena's lips trembled. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Her mother began to sing softly. My light, my joy, my daughter of fire and gold. You are not a mistake. You are a miracle. Helena cried harder. They didn't want me, Mother. They only want my gift, not me. They want you now, her mother said. And even if they don't, I want you. The gods want you. And one day, the whole world will know your name. Helena closed her eyes. She was still hurt, still wounded, but her mother's words wrapped around her like a warm cloth. Please stay, her mother begged. Even if not for them, for me. Helena nodded slowly. I'll stay. For now. The next morning, Helena sat quietly outside her mother's hut. Then she heard footsteps. When she looked up, it was King Liam walking toward her, alone, without guards or servants. His eyes were soft. His steps were slow. Good morning, Helena, he said. Good morning, Your Majesty, she replied, standing up. No, he said gently. Don't call me that. Today I came as Liam, not as your king. She was silent. He stood before her, took a deep breath, and said, I came to say I'm sorry. Helena raised her eyebrows. On behalf of my family, Liam continued, I'm deeply sorry for everything we did to you, for laughing at you, for mocking you, for hurting you, for sending you into the forest like you were nothing. Helena said nothing. She just looked at him. I know sorry will not erase the pain, Liam said. But I want you to know this, I see you now. Truly. You are brave. You are powerful. And you are beautiful. She looked away, confused. Why are you saying this? She asked. I'm not beautiful. Look at me, I have a mustache. I've been called names all my life. No one has ever liked me. How can you like a girl like me? Liam smiled gently. I don't just like you, Helena, he said. I think I'm falling in love with you. Helena's eyes widened. You, what? In fact, I love you, Liam said softly but clearly. I love the way you walk. I love the way you speak. I love your strength. I love your truth. I love everything about you. Helena stood frozen. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Then, suddenly, something strange happened. A soft wind blew around them. A bright light surrounded Helena. Liam stepped back in surprise. Helena felt a warm power move through her body from her head to her toes. She touched her face, something was missing. She rushed to a small pot of water beside the hut and looked at her reflection. Her mustache was gone, completely gone. Her face was smooth. Her skin glowed like fresh oil. Her eyes sparkled. She looked so beautiful, more beautiful than ever before. She turned back to Liam. Both of them were speechless. You're glowing. You're shining, Liam whispered. Helena touched her face again, still surprised. I don't understand, she whispered. Liam smiled. I think the gods are confirming what I just said. You are loved. You are chosen. You are more than what they said about you. Helena's eyes filled with tears. For the first time, she believed it. She was not a mistake. She was not a curse. She was special. King Liam returned to the palace with a bright smile on his face. For the first time in days, he felt alive. His steps were light, and his heart was dancing. As he entered the palace, he called out, Mother! Where are you? Queen Miriam came out of her chamber. What is it, my son? Liam walked up to her and held her hands. Mother, I have something to tell you. She looked at him with concern. Is everything all right? Yes, Liam said, smiling. In fact, everything is perfect. I feel better. My soul is happy, and I know why. The queen raised one eyebrow. Why? I love Helena, he said boldly, and I want to marry her. The smile on Queen Miriam's face disappeared instantly. What did you just say? I said I love Helena, Liam repeated calmly, and I want to marry her. The queen took 2 steps back, shaking her head. No. Never, she shouted. Over my dead body. You will not bring that cursed girl into this royal family. She is not cursed, Liam replied. She is a disaster, the queen screamed. She destroyed everything, our peace, our name, our pride. She saved my life, Liam said firmly. She humiliated us, the queen shouted. That mustache girl? You want to make her your queen? Never. I don't care what she looked like, Liam said. I care about who she is. She is kind. She is brave. She is everything I've ever wanted. The queen's hands shook with anger. You are a king. You can marry any princess from 10 kingdoms. But I don't want a princess, Liam replied. I want Helena. The queen turned and walked away in fury, shouting. This house will burn before that happens. Meanwhile, back in the small house at the edge of the village, Helena sat outside, still holding the small pot of water and staring at her reflection. She touched her face again. No mustache. No shame. Just her, looking beautiful. She was still lost in thought when her mother, Ruth, returned from the market with a basket of vegetables on her head. As soon as she saw her daughter, the basket dropped from her head and rolled on the ground. Helena, she gasped. My daughter, is this you? Helena turned and smiled. Yes, Mama. It's me. Ruth ran forward, fell to her knees, and hugged her daughter tightly. Ah God, thank you, she cried. You have done it. You have changed my daughter. You have answered my prayers. Helena laughed and pulled her mother up. Mama, stop crying, she said. Let me cry, my child, Ruth said, wiping her eyes. Do you know how many nights I stayed awake, crying and begging heaven to remove your pain? To silence your shame? She looked at Helena from head to toe. Now see you, like a queen, like a star from the sky. You're shining. Helena smiled gently. The king came to see me this morning. Ruth opened her mouth wide. The king again? What did he say? He said he loves me, and he wants to marry me. Ruth screamed in joy and covered her mouth. Jesus! My daughter? Married to the king? Helena smiled. The next morning, Helena was home alone. Her mother had gone to the market again. Helena sat on a wooden chair outside the house, peeling sweet potatoes and humming softly. Suddenly, she heard loud footsteps, and then a familiar voice shouting. Come out! Come out, you evil child! It was Queen Miriam. Helena stood up slowly. You used charms on my only son, the queen screamed. It will not work, you devil. Helena walked outside. The queen was ready to shout more, but the moment she saw Helena's face, she stopped. Her eyes grew wide. Her mouth slowly opened in shock. She stared at Helena from head to toe. What happened to your face? The queen asked softly. You're so beautiful now. You look like a queen. Helena didn't say a word. The queen stepped closer, still staring in disbelief. My son never told me that you now look like this. He never told me you've changed. Still, Helena said nothing. The queen's face slowly softened. Tears filled her eyes. She fell to her knees. I'm sorry, she said, her voice shaking. I was wrong. I judged you by your looks. I called you names. I forgot you saved my son's life. Please forgive me. Helena looked at her, surprised. For a moment, she said nothing. Then slowly, she reached out and helped the queen to her feet. I forgive you, she said gently. 1 month later, the entire village was filled with joy and music. Drums beat loudly. Women danced. Children laughed. It was the biggest wedding Eldora had ever seen. Helena, dressed in a royal golden gown, walked proudly into the palace. Her face shone like the morning sun. Her eyes sparkled like diamonds. Everyone who once laughed at her now bowed before her. King Liam stood waiting at the altar, smiling with joy. As she walked closer, he whispered, "You are the most beautiful bride in the world. And you are the first to ever see my true worth," Helena replied with a smile. They exchanged their vows. They became husband and wife. And Helena, the girl once called a beast, became queen of Eldora. The villagers clapped and cheered. The queen mother cried happy tears. And Ruth, Helena's dear mother, danced and shouted, "My daughter is now a queen." Meanwhile, in the quiet forest, the trees stood still. Mama Laura stood under the big tree where Helena had once trained. She looked up at the sky and smiled. A gentle breeze blew through her hair. She closed her eyes and whispered, "Congratulations, my child. You did it. You were brave. You were strong. You forgave. And you loved. I am with you, always." The forest grew quiet again, peaceful and proud. From that day on, King Liam and Queen Helena ruled Eldora with love and wisdom. They cared for the people. They brought peace to the land. And yes, they lived happily ever after. Dear viewers, what lesson did you take away from Helena's powerful journey, from rejection to royalty, from pain to purpose? Let us know in the comments, we're excited to hear your thoughts. Yellow heart, if this story touched your heart, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring African tales. Bellhop bell, hit the notification bell so you never miss a new story. Thanks for watching, and always remember, you are worthy, you are loved, and your story isn't over yet. Stay blessed. Glowing star.